Yo, what's up guys? Teacher Paul here in Philippi.
Hello there, everyone.
Today I was, recommended a very interesting story. The title of the video is New Zealand residents flee in record numbers as the cost of living surges. So what's happening? Bro, New Zealand,
Wow.
it's one of the places that always gets number one in best places to live in. If you look at the
It's
list.
actually one of the places I want to visit, besides
Yeah.
Australia and other countries from the oceanic continent.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on. This is a video from the channel called Mint. And guys, if you are from New Zealand or even from Australia, let us know what's going on. Because apparently, I think some people are going from New Zealand to Australia. And let us know if you know anything further about this. Because we have a lot of people from Australia watching as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look.
Okay, let's go.
During the
soundtrack is it's too dramatic for
living overseas returned home in historically high numbers. This because the then government led by Jacinda Ardern had handled the COVID outbreak well. She was globally praised and this instilled confidence in the country's residents. But many seem to be done with it now. Nearly 1.5 lakh New Zealand residents have left the country in the last 1 year. This is the highest annual number ever.
Wow.
This because the country is facing some major economic issues.
New Zealand is technically into recession. In some countries, because to avoid the adverse attention of foreign investors, rating agencies, migrants, and so, they try and cook up the numbers. But factually speaking, as per my own economic analysis, New Zealand is in recession. It's in a technical recession right now.
Wow.
And one of the typical characteristics of a recession is that there is rampant unemployment. Companies start cutting jobs. The salaries do not grow for the people who already have jobs but who have not lost their jobs. Their salaries do not grow and your cost of living rises significantly. If your cost of living in a country like New Zealand, which is supposed to be one of the developed part of the world, if the cost of living rises and your salaries are not rising in the same proportion, people in these kind of countries, they survive on mortgages. Your house is mortgaged, your car is mortgaged, everything is on loan. And you basically run your living on EMIs with little left for your other groceries and other expenses. So I think with the cost of living shooting up, people are not able to meet their monthly commitments, the EMI commitment, the mortgages, and so.
Unemployment is rising, interest
That's
rates
for every
are
country,
still
I
high,
guess.
though the central bank did cut them recently. Economic growth is lagging and public sector jobs have also been cut. According to data released by New Zealand and accessed by Reuters, nearly 33% of those fleeing New Zealand are going to Australia, a place where they don't require a work visa. Net migration is still high, which means the number of those arriving is also high. But economists expect these numbers also to wane soon enough.
So
This because the number of foreign nationals
Australia is
wanting
cheaper
to
than
move
New
to
Zealand,
New Zealand is
I
also
guess?
falling due to the softer economy.
Yes.
A lot of Indians who had gone there for Indians and people from other nationalities also, Indians constitute almost 5% of the New Zealand population, most of them living in Auckland and Wellington. So they started running away because they had no choice. We should not forget that they had migrated to New Zealand with a dream, and the dream was to get good quality of living and make some money for themselves. We all know per capita income of New Zealand is about close to $50,000, which is far more than Indian per capita of about $2,000 plus. So they went there to make a dream, but then the dream becomes sour when you find that you're not able to save anything. Forget about saving. You're not able to survive. You can't meet your monthly expenses. Your basic expenses of groceries. So a lot of families that I know, they said that we are not able to buy our basic needs like groceries. Forget about meeting our mortgages. So I think that's what is making people flee, because their savings are nothing. I mean, there's no point of living thousands of kilometers away from your homeland. And then they start looking for other pastures. They look for neighboring countries. They look for other developed countries around the world to see if they can do better over there.
Those migrating away say that Australia has a lot more opportunities, better work opportunities, economic prospects, better standard of living, and as one resident told Reuters, they just seem to have it together. This in contrast with New Zealand, where the economy is still struggling after the central bank hiked cash rates in its most aggressive tightening since 1999. Unemployment rose to 4.7% and inflation also remains high. Also, countries like Australia have been recruiting and offering relocation packages, especially in areas like nursing, policing, and teaching. This because Australia has skill shortages and they're looking for people to bridge the gap. Again, this is happening in sharp contrast with New Zealand, where the government has undertaken a significant downsizing of the country's public service. Hence, many skilled people are looking for jobs and Australia is only too happy to have them.
For certain class of skilled manpower, like, for example, medicos, for example, accountants, nurses, Australia does open from time to time, but that scope of resettlement is for a very limited class of professionals. I can't say that, one can't assume that all the people who were settled in New Zealand from everything that they were doing, they can all go and restart in Australia. And by the way, Australian economy is also not doing that great. I mean, the inflation demon has impacted Australia also, because we saw this phenomena happening across the world, especially in the developed countries. Some of the most developed countries in the world, like America, also is facing a challenge.
Here in the UK as well.
Is also not that great. So Australia, again, I mean, it may be a very large country from the point of view of geography, but it's a very tiny country when it comes to economy. And its sour relations with China also hasn't helped Australia. We know there was a trade war, a cold war going on between Australia and China on so many things, whether it was spirits or mining or other things. So I think people who are landing from New Zealand to Australia, well, they might find a temporary reprieve, and probably geographically they may be in a very large belt. We've got Sydney, the commercial capital. You've got Canberra, you've got Perth, you've got Brisbane, you've got Adelaide, Melbourne.
Aussie Deb is from Brisbane.
There are about 5, 6, 7 cities where you can settle down, but main business is in Sydney. That's the commercial capital where some of the New Zealanders have moved. Well, it may offer packages for people in the skill set that Australia needs, but we cannot assume and presume that everyone who was suffering on the economic front in New Zealand can probably move to Australia and find a living there. It's not going to be possible as by my own analysis. And I think people who are thinking of moving to Australia, they have to be very careful, very watchful, and they must analyze their career prospects over there.
Hope you found this video useful. For more such content, keep watching
Okay. Cool.
You know what this channel is telling us right now, the situation about New Zealand, it's very similar to what's happening in Brazil. Not only right now, but for a long time, actually. You know, the economy, the expenses are growing and getting each day bigger and bigger, but people's salaries are not following the same growth. So there's a lot of people here in Brazil that actually struggles with the simple everyday life.
Yeah, the basic essentials like meat, right? Beans.
Yeah, and exactly, rice and fruits and many other things.
It's funny because in Brazil there is an expression that, this is the price of bananas. It means it's very cheap.
Yeah.
But last time I was in Brazil, bananas are expensive now. Now what do you say?
Exactly. So most people here basically are like living like from paycheck to paycheck. That's what I mean. So they barely have any money to save and to use in something else in the future. So they have to pay rent because most people don't actually they don't own their own houses.
Yeah. And he was talking about mortgages. In Brazil, having a mortgage is like a success, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you normally go by go by rent normally in Brazil.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, it's not so different here in the UK either. You know, London, you know, the whole of the UK has been struggling also financially and economically. The
Wow,
prices
that's
have been
crazy.
going. Of course, it's not as bad as other countries like Brazil, but still, you've seen rise in inflation. When I came here, the inflation was 0 point something,
Mm-hmm.
1% inflation. It went up to 11. You can imagine how much
Wow.
it went up.
Wow, really? Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
everything went up. So guys, let us know how it is in New Zealand, you know, and how is it in Australia? Because they made it seem like Australia is thriving right now, and they're,
Mhm.
you know,
At
they're,
least it seems like they have better opportunities.
yeah. I was gonna make a joke. There's nothing funny about the whole situation, but when they said they were getting skilled people from into Australia, the first thing that came to mind was like, if anybody can break dance, now's your time to go to Australia. I'm kidding, guys. I hope Australians take that lightly.
Yeah.
Oh man. But
I
anyways,
hope
guys,
they don't break down after our comments.
yeah. Okay, guys. All in all, let us know how the situation is. I think it's to well, it's something that is happening worldwide, especially after the lockdown. You know, every country had to try to save its population, and they used all of the funds, the government funds, and because of the costs of you know, helping people that couldn't go to work, they added the tax, or they increased tax, and they did something. They increased inflation just to try to balance out and you know, gather the funds back. But what I see is it's not going back down, or at least people. It feels like the supermarkets, for example, saw that they could charge more, and now they don't want to go back. Because I saw like a Tesco president saying that, oh, we needed to cut costs and stuff like that, but at the same time they doubled in profit.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you double in profit and still claim that you need to cut costs to survive? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't
It's
add up.
strange. Yeah, it's that old classic problem of human and corporate greed. And
Yeah. Once they
well,
see you're still gonna pay that price, it's like the iPhone. It doesn't matter how
mhm.
much they charge, people are still gonna buy it, and the prices
Yeah.
are still gonna go up. But that's a little bit different with McDonald's, because they were putting their prices way up, and now they're suffering the consequences because they're not the number one most ordered.
Yeah,
They're suffering some.
I've heard some people saying that McDonald's is like, at least in the US, it's like a very cheap place to go to eat, you know.
Yeah.
But here in Brazil, it's basically those fast food chains and other companies that work in the fast food industry. Those places are basically the places that you go to, you know, to do something fun, to do something cool, and to have a good time and to have a good meal. So here in Brazil is the fast food. These fast food companies have a very different concept from the United States.
Yeah,
It's like
they're
a
so
wow, hey,
expensive.
yeah, hey, ho, let's go to McDonald's and, you know, spend our money on this burgers and fries and
Yeah,
stuff. And you
it's
know, people actually get excited
yeah,
with
it's
McDonald's.
one of
And
those places where you go once a month, or you go every
yeah, it's
birthday.
kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, because it's
It's
very
almost the same idea.
expensive. How much is a Big Mac right now? Like 25,
Wow. It's around, I believe it's probably around
30
30
now. Wow.
reais.
Wow, 30. So for context, guys, the minimum wage is 1,100, right? 1,100.
Yeah,
And you
more or less
pay,
that.
yeah, the minimum wage is 1,100, and you pay 30 for one Big Mac. That's
I mean,
crazy.
just let me check out how much is
That is
a
like,
hamburger in.
it's a big chunk from your salary. It's what, 0.3% of your salary, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If you're earning 1,100, but that's just for context. The minimum wage, guys, 1,100, and an iPhone. How much is an iPhone there? 10,000, 12,000.
Here in Brazil, yeah, it's kind of some of, depending of the type, because there are different types of
Yeah.
of the same iPhone.
Yeah.
So they could
the
go
newest
high up, like 20,000, maybe sometimes even.
The newest
So-
model could be 20,000 while your minimum wage is 1,100. So you have to work 20 months saving your full amount to be able to buy an iPhone. It's crazy.
So in the US, the average price of a Big Mac is range from $3.91 to $5.31. So
Wow.
if we take the less expensive, the cheapest option, which is $3.91, if we use the exchange here in Brazil, it would be something like around 15 reais.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. So it's double.
Can you see? Yeah.
Do you know
double.
the Big Mac? Have you ever heard of the Big Mac Index?
No, I have never heard of
Yeah,
it.
I used McDonald's as an example because one, its prices are being dropped now because of the backlash, and two, because there's a thing called the Big Mac Index where it shows how the economy of a country kind of works according to the prices of the Big Mac. So if you guys want to look into the Big Mac Index and look at the map, Brazil is one of the places that has the highest or the most expensive Big Mac.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, let us know in New Zealand how things are, in Australia as well. Let us know the prices of Big Macs and also the cost of living. And that's it for today. We'll see you on the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Now you can get full access to exclusive content, special reactions to shows, series, anime, full movies, and even request a video of your choice. Just become a YouTube member or join Buy Me a Coffee today. Find out more, the link is in the description.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game.